Hello, now I'm going to go on about the Book of Revelation like a proper weird Christian. The thing about the Book of Revelation is that you can be very specific and you can be very general about it, and I haven't really put this in context. First of all, you have the general approach to text as such. You have the more specific approach to texts in the Bible, and then you have the very specific approach to the Book of Revelation. And then you can be more specific in the sense that if you take a historical grammatical approach to the text of Revelation, then you will then be talking about more specific things like pre-rapture, post-tribulation, premillennialism, post-millennialism, amillennialism and all that. And I'm not going to go that far because I think that makes a lot of assumptions about what the appropriate approach is, and in particular I think it's a bit strange taking a historical grammatical approach to the Book of Revelation, because that's supposed to be about the plain meaning of the text, which would mean that we would have to believe things like multi-headed monsters coming out of the sea, which is possible, but I think, you know, that would be rather hard for me to accept, at least. So I'm actually going to talk about the four approaches, and I'm not going to put them into context, and those four approaches are the Preterist approach, the Idealist approach, the Historicist approach, and the Futurist approach. The first two, the Preterist and the Idealist, don't really involve prophecy, or at least any specific prophecy. The idea of the Preterist approach is that it's a disguised account of the history of the church up until the time the Book of Revelation was written. And one of the things that supports this is the fact that 666 is the value of the Hebrew letters for Nero, QSR. So that's quite interesting, but that sort of thing has been done a lot. For example, Ronald Wilson Reagan, 3 names of 6 letters each, and so forth. So yeah, you can do that, but that might very much be imposed on it. But obviously it's then a historical approach taken to the past, i.e. Preterist, which then is probably fairly acceptable to someone who is atheist and metaphysically naturalist. Another thing that's acceptable to you, perhaps, if you're atheist and metaphysically naturalist, and I think if you are, you probably do, even though you might not think so, need a particular approach to the Book of Revelation, will be the Idealist approach. And the Idealist approach is that the Book of Revelation is about the eternal triumph of good over evil. Now, if it's about that, obviously, if you're a Christian, you're going to say that the triumph of good over evil is probably to do with the church triumphing over evil. But the idea is that in any situation, the triumph of good over evil will occur. And as a result, that could, in a sense, be seen as a very loose prophecy about the nature of the church or the nature of good. But really, that doesn't involve any kind of prophecy either. So once again, in a way, you could be metaphysically naturalist and atheist and believe that. The other two, the historicist and the futurist approaches, really do require you to be at least a believer in the supernatural and probably not an atheist as well. The historicist approach is that it's about the whole of human history from beginning to end. And so it's basically an account of history which is symbolized and which is open to interpretation. And the futurist approach is the idea that it's actually, I mean, not the whole of human history, actually the time from the time it was written up until the end of history. And the futurist approach is that it's primarily about the end of history, and most people would probably say that that hasn't happened yet. The fact that there are these four approaches doesn't mean that you can't take a combination of these approaches, because obviously if you believe in the futurist or the historicist approach, you will also believe that good will triumph over evil in the end. And there are various combinations of them. So it's a little bit like the theories of atonement, in that you can actually believe several of them at once. And obviously there's a lot of things I've had to gloss over because there hasn't really been time. So that's it for my god-bothering video today. If you don't like this video, please tell me why so I can improve. If you do like it, please rate, comment, share and subscribe. And I'll see you tomorrow.